Hi, welcome back. This is Rabbi Aharon again with this week's Attitude Adjustment. Now, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, we've already figured out that one of the ways to get around that is to change your life, to make yourself closer to the Creator of the universe, to understand that He has the answer to all problems, to all questions. It says in Torah that if Hashem creates a challenge for someone, before He creates a challenge, He has already created the solution. So, if you have a challenge, where should you do? Should you go to yourself and try to figure it out with whatever limited resources we have? Or should you go to the one you know has the answer? I think we all know the answer to that question. So that's one of the things we want to do, is to get closer to Hashem. And we've talked about ways of doing it. We've talked about emunah, to understand that everything comes from Hashem. It all has purpose, and that purpose always, whether we see it or not at the moment, is for our ultimate best. So, if we know all these three things, why would we ever be depressed? And why would we ever be anxious? Why would we ever have concerns that are beyond what we can handle? We wouldn't. That's the life I'm talking about living. That will change your attitude. So this week we're going to talk about, we've already talked about emunah, which is very important, the faith in Hashem. We've talked about hitbodedut, speaking to Hashem so we can get closer to Him. We've talked about various other ways of getting close to Hashem, and today we're going to talk about yet another way. There's always a way. No matter who you are, no matter what your limitations or what you think your limitations are, there's always a way. This week we're going to talk about chesed. Chesed, righteousness or loving kindness. It's actually defined in both ways. And we have two prime examples this week, and they're both, oddly enough, this week's Parsha of Torah. We talk about Abraham, and we talk about the fact that he was always looking to do chesed. It says earlier on in Torah that Abraham had a tent that was open in 4 different directions, so he could always see if someone was coming to him, so that he had the opportunity to do chesed for them, to help them out, to help a traveler who was weary, to rest, to drink, to eat. As a matter of fact, before Isaac was born, we talked about that last week, before Isaac was born, the 3 angels that came to visit Abraham, he came running to get them, it says. It came running out to greet them and begging them to stay with him and allow him to do this. You're talking about a man who 3 days before that had given himself a brit milah, a circumcision. They say that the 3rd day is the most painful, and this man went running out to do this. And what was Abraham's reward for these things? Well, it says that Abraham lived, actually it tells us in this week's Parsha, he lived to a ripe old age, and that Hashem provided him with everything. How do you do better than that? Being provided with everything. That's quite a reward, not to mention he was also provided with the zechut, with the merit to be the father of an entire nation, the whole Jewish nation that was to come later, through his son Yitzchak. Now this week we have another example of chesed, and it comes from an unusual source. It says that Abraham asked his servant Eliezer to go find a bride for his son Yitzchak from among his people, not from among the Canaanites. So he went to the land where Abraham had come from, and he sat by the well, and he said to Hashem, please, show me who the right person is. I'll ask her if I can have some water that she's drawn from the well. And she said, not only will I give it to you, but I'll give it to your camels as well, which is quite a lot to ask for somebody. Camels drink quite a bit. So that's what he asked for, and that's what he was given. And the one who came to him was Rivka. And she said, let me give you water, and I will also draw water for your camels. At the time, Rivka was very, very young, but he knew she was the one to bring to Yitzchak. When her relatives said, do you want to go with this man? She didn't hesitate for a minute, and she went. Now it says that when Sarah died, and this is the Parsha where Sarah is gone, and they talk about the end of her life, it says that the light in her tent went off. Not just the physical light, the spiritual light. A light to the world was extinguished because she was no longer there. When Yitzhak brought her back to Sarah's tent, it says the light went back on. The spiritual light went back on because of the chesed of a woman who was remarkable. You should also know that at this point, something unusual is said, which should give us a clue as to what we need to do in the future if we have if we are still looking for our shidduch, for our zivu, for our soulmate. It says Yitzchak married Rivka, and he knew her, and he loved her. And it's very specific on the order of those three things. Think about it. So, if you do chesed, you can expect that Hashem will reward you for it. It's just one more way of getting close to Him. To come with all the other ones we've talked about, you got a winning way of getting to Hashem. So now's the time to start. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Start now. Get closer to Hashem. Change your life to a life of joy, a life of pleasure, a life of fulfillment, a life where you wake up every morning and you say, thank you for waking me up today because I know it's going to be a great day. So everyone, remember, if you like this, share it with friends. And like it on the Facebook page, if not on the YouTube page. And send it to the people who you think it would be of value to. If you have questions, ask them. If you have suggestions, mention them. I'll try to accommodate almost anything. In the meantime, have a great Shabbos and a great week ahead. Be well, everyone. Bye-bye.